My name is Beau Blair. I'm running for the US House of Representatives in North Carolina's 6th Congressional District because I'm a working class husband and father and has just seen the way that our system of government has worked against people like me for a very long time. We're trying to put a new face and a new way of looking at things back into Washington, D.C. So, yeah.
Thank you. And what qualifications do you have for the role?
Well, I mean, my background, as I said, is mostly working class. I've worked a lot in hospitality and service industry for a very long time, and that has helped to uh, translate over to what we're trying to do with meeting new people, building a campaign, and truly listening to what the people have to say about the concerns they have. So my background is very diverse, but it is coming from a different angle than what most people have running for my office.
And why should voters pick you over the other candidates?
Well, most importantly, I am still working class. I have a job that I'm still working as we're running this campaign. We have felt the sting of what's happened in our economy, not just now, but over the last, several years. I've had to work two jobs because daycare is too unaffordable for most people. We have, tried desperately to make ends meet, been on SNAP benefits. One of the biggest things is, my wife is a naturalized citizen, and we have lived in the fear of what we're watching in Minneapolis and Minnesota because we don't know how far this is going to go. Part of the reason that our campaign was built was because of the fact that we watched as the election results rolled in, and we had a serious conversation about if we were going to leave the country or not. And that led to us wanting to stay and fight back in the right way. So our campaign is deeply rooted in the people of this district and the people of this country because that's where we are and we want to be most importantly.
Thank you. Housing and healthcare costs are rising faster than wages. What specific action would you take in your first term to lower costs for families?
Well, one of the biggest things, especially with housing, is we're watching as private equity firms and corporations continue to buy up homes, controlling the price of the market. We have to get them to stop buying homes to open up the inventory for the American people. One of the ways that we want to do that is by taxing a lot of these corporations that are holding on to housing for longer than a year. We can then take that money to help with down payment assistance, help fix up dilapidated housing that can still be livable, but make it safe for people to live into. We also want to make sure that we can use those to buy lower income homes. One of the other big things that we want to do is give people a living wage. We don't have a living wage in this country. $7.25 an hour is not enough. If we can reinvest in the people, then we can really truly build up our housing, our healthcare system, and make sure that people aren't afraid to go see a doctor. Um, that's another point, we have watched as the healthcare industry has just completely gotten out of reach for most people. If we can somehow expand Medicaid for people under 65 to buy into, to give the public a public option, it will help make sure that some of these private equity firms, like Blue Cross and Blue Shield and United Healthcare, will absolutely have no choice but to lower their costs. It should not cost as much as it does to go see a doctor, um, especially if you're sick, worried about missing paychecks and everything else like that. So we really have to work with, um, Medicare and expanding it out, subsidizing those costs, really making sure that those ACA subsidies are a permanent addition to tax cuts for the American people.
What federal policies or initiatives would you support to improve the long-term jobs outlook in your district?
Um, One of our big platform pieces is education. We really have seen our education system in this country just really get demolished over the course of my lifetime, and I have a son who just turned 10, and it's just continues to get worse. If we really invest in education, we think that we can help to build a stronger middle class. By investing in education, we also mean by helping to make sure that community college is cheaper, Trade schools are, cheaper as well to give people an option to go out and work and educate themselves for a better, higher paying job. Um, we have to expand small business credits to make sure that, we are still supporting the people that we have in our districts, especially in Cabarrus County. But most importantly, one of the big things that we have talked about is um, helping our farmers in this district as well, who are getting eaten alive by supply chain issues from the top down. If we can really help to focus them to a more local level, then we can absolutely help to build a bigger supply and farmers to really grow and support small businesses across the district.
What is one law that doesn't exist that you think should exist, and how would that law positively impact all the citizens in your district that you're running for?
Um, Personally, I think that a living wage law is something that we have that doesn't exist that we have to fix. Um, as we mentioned before, $7.25 an hour is not enough to survive. We have to make a pledge, and if we have to make a law to do it to the American people, to put a living wage out so that they can survive, then that's what we have to do. By working with, you know, not necessarily just people across the aisle, but people in the district. This district, especially, is very deeply purple, closer to red, unfortunately. But we need to hear what the people have to say and how we can fix that together so that we can take that to Washington to fix those problems for these people because we are watching as the wealth gap in this country just continues to skyrocket. So we have to make sure that we're investing in the people of this district by giving everyone a living wage, making sure that they have education and food, making sure that they don't have to choose between, paying their rent or their bills any longer. So by doing that, it's not necessarily just a law, but a pledge to the American people that we want to work for them.
Do you have any plans or thoughts on how you would bring that law to life?
Uh, yes, we being a junior congressman, if elected, that is something that does hinder you. But we do have some people who we have talked to about building legislation and things like that through some, wealth tax that has already been introduced. And there's already some legislation that's already out there that can be expanded on to include things like that. We can add on and help to support those legislations that we have learned about so far that are out there. But again, like I said, the biggest thing is working with the people of this district. That is the most important thing that we can do so that the people in Washington on both sides of the aisle know that the people of the sixth district want this as a piece of their life.
Thank you. You have a little bit of time left. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I our campaign very much so is people powered. As I have stated before, we are a working class candidate. We are the only one in our primary that has a job still. We really, truly want to do the job to help the American people. And that is where we are at currently and where we want to be moving forward. So I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to come and, talk to your followers about things like that. But, we really are trying to emphasize that. One way that we are trying to do that is we have a benefit concert coming up here in February 13th in High Point. The details will be up on our website here soon. So please check it out. We have Trey Taylor, one of Nashville's hottest up and coming stars, and we're very excited to have him out and about with us to help us raise some money and awareness for our campaign. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys letting me come on.